Ba-ba-ba-ba. Whoa. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? Where in the world? Where in the world would you look out and see that? Well, this continues a little theme I've got running at the minute, where we've got, we're on a bit of a nostalgic bent at the minute. Let me just, get things switched on here. Thanks. Yeah, just get things going. So yeah, today, well, this is pretty cool actually. Today we are in Ascension Island. It's a long way away. It's a long way away from everything. And what I thought was we'll have a little fly around in the Piper Arrow, my little Piper Arrow 3 that I got a very long time ago. None of my stuff working. Oh, there we go. It's coming to life. Hit that quite a few times. We're not going to need it anyway because it's all going to be flying around stuff that we can see today. Right, let's get fuel going. So fuel is on. We need a key, clear prop, and engine's running. And we'll just let that warm up a little bit. So we're going to, we should have our ignition lights on now. We're not going to need pitot heat, that's for sure. We don't need autopilot at this point in time. And if I continue to get sound stutters, I will be calling a halt to this pretty damn sharpish. Right, now actually, it's out that way. I was going to say I don't actually know where the runway is, but it can only be in one place. So today we're going to be taking off from, I still believe, let's just turn the brakes off. There we go, we're trundling. It is the second longest runway in the world. Let's just scoot over here. What's that? Is that? So we used to come down on the TriStar, but the TriStars are no more. That looks like a Voyager, but it doesn't look like a very good one. Yeah, let's just go around the back of it and see what's going on. So there used to be an air bridge between the UK and the Falklands. That is not the Voyager. It's a very short. That is. What is that? So this is Wide Awake Airfield in the Ascension Island. We are looking for a windsock. There's one there. There's not a lot of wind in either direction today. So it looks like the wind is blowing from our left to right. So we can head down in this direction. We've got a wind farm going on there. That wasn't there when I was here. So I've been in Ascension a couple of times. I say a couple of times. It was old. So I came down in at the start of October 1985. And we had a job. We had a job on. Come down and do some work, which was all very good. And by Christmas we still hadn't really finished. So I went back to UK for Christmas. Managed to get myself hypothermia because I'm walking around Glasgow in a t-shirt in very cold conditions because I'd just come from here. I had my first ever tan, so you know, showing that off. There's a guy flying there in a biplane. What the hell? 7, 3, right. I'm gonna have to backtrack. Or shall I just go for it? Oh, let's just go for it. Let's put a bit of flap in, and we will just get in the air. Get in the air. That's the way to do it. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Let's go. Let's have some lights, camera, and let's see if we can get some speed. There's 16 knots coming through there. We've got 100 yards left. We're risking it. We're risking it. And rotate away from the ground. There we go. That's how we do that. So yeah, I came in the October. Had to go back to, well, I went back to UK for Christmas, and then came back out again in the January for another month or so, month and a half, I think. And yeah, right, so gear up. There's the gear coming up. We'll take the flap off. So as we continue in this direction, we'll do a sort of clockwise tour of the island. This will be Georgetown, with a port. Georgetown being the main town, if you like, the capital, if there is a capital. It's very small, as it looks to be. It's very small. And the thing about Ascension is it's basically just a whole load of volcanoes. Lots and lots of volcanic cones. The whole place is a load of defunct volcanoes. I found it paradise on earth, but not sure it's seen like that by everybody who's been here, but most people. It's very uninhabited now by way of military presence. The numbers have reduced quite a lot because we don't have the air bridge anymore. There was a problem with the runway, and the troopers were diverted. So as we come round the side here, this looks like the BBC station, which will be adjacent to a very fine beach. You can just go out a bit. Yeah, that's the BBC relay station. And the beach down here is called English Bay. It is absolutely one of the best places on earth. It is beautiful. I'm not sure about all these wind farm things, pylons. They weren't there, they are a new thing. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. Best place ever. There's a lot of restrictions about people swimming in the sea these days, apparently. I mean, we just got in. Yeah, a lot of restrictions about swimming in the sea. We didn't swim very far, we just went, you know, a few yards out. There's a massive shelf. I wasn't the strongest swimmer at the time either. They're quite strong rip currents, so I was always a bit cautious staying close to the beach where the blackfish are, the triggerfish. Hilarious little things. They look awesome. They look really dangerous. They're related to the piranha fish. But you could basically stand in the water up to your knees, say, you'd chuck an apple in, and the water would just turn black with these little fish, like basically all chomping at the bit to get at food of any kind. And they basically, wow, that looks pretty good. And they basically pop the apple out of the water, and then once they got a bite into it, or you could bite it beforehand, and then they would devour it quicker. But yeah, Green Mountain up there looks fantastic. Green Mountain's basically the only green bit of the mountain, and that was due to some work by Charles Darwin, of no other. Charles Darwin was the one who came here, I think it was in the 1850s, when the place was pretty much barren all over. There was no drinking water, and there was a garrison here, Royal Marine Garrison, and he and another botanist, naturalist, planted some rain collecting plants on the top of Green Mountain to see if they could harvest some of the water from the clouds. And next thing you know, it's about 20 years later, but yeah, the whole of Green Mountain is now a lush tropical rainforest. It's pretty incredible. You climb to the top of there. There's a pond at the top called the Dew Pond. I think it's every 6 months or so they do a race from Georgetown, the beach, to the Dew Pond, and the race finishes by putting your hand in the pond at the top. It wasn't on when I was here, or I would definitely have avoided it like the plague anyway. But yeah. Oh, we are getting some choppy audio here going on. So as you can see, we've just come round the whole of Ascension. There's the runway again. So what we're going to do is see if we can fly over the RAF base, which is RAF Travellers Hill, which is where we were accommodated. In the time we were here, we and the fitting party that came out with us, we were all accommodated in some new porta cabins that had just been dropped on the base. So we were the first occupants of those porta cabins, and jolly fine accommodation it was. But the Travellers Hill was fantastic. We were right next to the mess, the Airman's Mess. Next to that was the NAFI, the bar, little shop, and next to that was the best swimming pool in the world. It was quite humorous one day when one of the humorous, well, he was one of the SAS guys that were here when we were here. There were 264 guys here. They managed to catch a little baby shark down off English Bay and dropped it into the swimming pool one day. Yeah, that was fun. So this is RAF Travellers Hill. You can see the swimming pool. Wow. Yeah, this is not a bad representation actually. The swimming pool was high up. It was a great view. Our little port cabins were just down there on the left, next to the sports field. This is incredible, actually. That is incredible. That building there would be the Airman's Mess. The next one is the pub, the NAFI, and then the swimming pool. Wow. So and this is 2 boats. Woohoo. I wonder if there's 2 boats there. 2 boats because There were a couple of boats upturned and dug into the ground to give some shelter to people, and it was called Two Boats. And all of this volcanic, oh, that building down there, I wonder what that is. Don't know. Look away. Yeah. It does look alright actually, Ascension. It looks like it looks. There's a bit too much green down there. There's not that much green on the plane down here, but oh, that audio is doing my Swede. I must fiddle with some more settings today. Right, so what we'll do is we'll double back on ourselves. We'll fly over the top of Green Mountain, which is that's nearly 3,000 feet actually, so I better pull some altitude here. Let's see if we can fly. So the route to get to Green Mountain is basically past Traveller's Hill, but we don't have to go that way. We're in a plane, so we can fly over Two Boats and straight up there. But we'll need to get round. The US Air Force Base is in between Traveller's Hill and Georgetown as well, which has a very, very good club called the Volcano Club. It's my introduction to the infamous Brandy Alexander. I was in the Volcano Club, the VC. It's the only drink I've ever had where you basically get drunk from the ankles up. It puts your legs to sleep slowly. So you're sitting on a bar stool, you need to go to the loo, you step off the bar stool and you are on the floor because your legs have gone. Your top half is perfectly sane, not a problem, but your legs have gone. It does that. It's so there's a little farm on the way up, which is just, that's probably represented in the sim. There won't be a dew pond, but there's a bamboo forest on the way up there that basically you have to pull your way up. There wasn't a path at the time, it was just bamboo. A bamboo forest. Awesome place. Awesome. Tried to get back here because incidentally, this is the place that I met my wife of 39 years, so it was a long time ago. Tried to get back here for the 25th wedding anniversary. Wrote a nice letter to the RAF, and they wrote a nice letter back saying, sorry, no. So I was a bit gutted about that, but never mind. Because at some point I'd love to come back. These issues I'm having, never had them before. My Wi-Fi's better than it's ever been. I don't know what is going on. So we just need to lose a bit of height here. We're a little bit high. I know it's a long runway and we can float on down there, but let's not do that. So let's just do the big lazy S. Well, it's not even an S, it's more of a lazy C. We'll lose some height. Yeah, so there's basically nothing. The nearest place to this island is St. Helena, which is about 800 miles to the south. And that's where the St. Helenians, who do a lot of the jobs on Ascension, where they come from. Locally known as the Saints. Got their own bar in Georgetown. Well, it's not their own bar, anybody can use it, but it's one that they obviously set up. Yeah, really nice people. Oh, I know. This plane does not like you throttling back. without... Right, so the way to get around that is we're at a good speed. We'll bring the gear down. We will head on round. And line up on the runway. So we've got a bit of flapping. We've got one stage of flap. Our gear is down. We've got the 3 greens there. Why does that think I'm fiddling with a feather mixture? I'm not. I'm just altering the throttle. So we'll come down for a landing at Wide Awake Airfield. Much as the TriStars and tankers and troopers do, and the Vulcans that went off to bomb the runway at Port Stanley in the Falklands, where a couple of my last videos were based. This is Ascension Island in the middle of the South Atlantic. Tip top. Lovely place. Visit if you can. I would dearly love to come back here. Only for a few, even if just for a few days. Just to revisit. But there's a little building on the headquarters that I did some work in. I'd like to go in there. Obviously it's a comms building, but they probably won't let me in these days. There you go. Right, so let's sort this landing out. Nearly over the threshold. And just bringing the nose up. We can... There's a very long taxi, so what we might do is... there's a very famous hump in the runway here. You can see it. There it is. So we're just flying down the runway at... 20 feet. What's that? So we're going to go up and over the hump, and then we will meet up with the ground at some point. Here it comes. There we go. Safely back on the ground. That looks like a US Air Force. Oops, put these down. Looks like a US Air Force Hercules. It's obviously a US operated base as well. The runway was built by the Americans originally in 1942. Don't quote me on that. There seems to be more aeroplanes here now than there were when I took off. Now, either I didn't see them coming in, or something very strange is going on with the scenery, but there you go. That's Microsoft for you. What is that? Thai Air? I don't think so. You are not coming here from Thailand. You can't just park that there and go, yeah, it's Thai Air, yeah. I mean, what is that, 767 or something? I mean, no. There'll be a Ryanair here next. So, yes, RAF Wide Awake Airfield, whatever you want to call it. Who knows? But, that was an American flag. There's not an American flag flying here. I'm sorry. It's not an American base. Yes, they are our friends, but I don't think that is representative at all. As for parking, country's that Mexico? Yeah, it's got a Mexican flag on it. Yeah, let's just park here because it's quite a nice view. Yeah, we're going to park here. I don't care. Parking. Handbrake. I mean foot brake. You know what I meant. We can take that's off. And we'll shut down here. So thanks for joining me. Welcome to Ascension. Welcome back to Ascension. Yeah, nice. I just need to fit all my settings because these noise glitches are really starting to bug me now, and I don't know how to get rid of them without just fiddling with settings and hoping they go away. Okay, join you next time. Ciao.